In the summer of 2037, the world stood still as the sky split open. Enormous starships, black against the blue, descended through the clouds, their sleek surfaces glinting in the sunlight. Panic gripped the nations of Earth. The news called it an invasion. Militaries mobilized, cities emptied in fear. But the transmissions from the ships held no threats. Instead, they spoke in languages long buried under sand and time, Egyptian, Sumerian, and others, even scholars barely recognized. "We are returning home," they said. At first, no one believed them. The idea was impossible. But then came the artifacts, the proof, ancient symbols embedded in their ship hulls, genetic markers matching those of modern humans, and technology that eerily mirrored myths of gods arriving in great chariots of light. Historians and scientists scrambled to piece together the impossible truth. Thousands of years ago, at the peak of Egypt's power, an advanced human civilization had abandoned Earth. They had mastered faster-than-light travel, fleeing in great arcs to untouched worlds among the stars. But paradise had not lasted. Over millennia, their new worlds became poisoned by the same greed and neglect that once threatened Earth. Their final refuge, once a lush Eden, had turned into a wasteland of smog and radiation. They had no choice but to return to the cradle of their ancestors, the only place left. Earth's leaders hesitated. How could they welcome back a civilization they never knew existed? Could billions of people coexist with the returning exiles, or would history repeat itself with war and conquest? But the Skylords, as they came to be called, did not demand. They pleaded. They had come not as conquerors, but as refugees. Governments around the world scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings at the United Nations ran day and night, while military forces remained on high alert. The public was divided. Some saw the Skylords as long-lost kin, a forgotten branch of humanity seeking to return home. Others saw them as a threat, interlopers who had abandoned Earth long ago and had no right to claim it now. But the Skylords did not wait for permission. Their great ships settled into orbit, and smaller vessels descended to Earth, landing in the deserts of Egypt, Mesopotamia, and the Andes, places where their ancient ancestors had once ruled. Their emissaries, tall and regal, stepped onto the soil of their forgotten home, their golden cloaks rippling in the wind. They spoke with voices both foreign and familiar, carrying the weight of a history erased by time. Dr. Amina Hassan, an archaeologist from Cairo, was one of the first humans to meet them. She stood in the Valley of the Kings as a towering figure emerged from a sleek obsidian ship. His features were strikingly human, dark eyes lined with intricate golden tattoos, his skin bronzed by the artificial suns of distant worlds. He spoke her name without introduction, Amina Hassan. The earth has kept its beauty well. She stared at him, at a face that could have belonged to an Egyptian noble from 5,000 years ago. "Who are you?" she asked, though she already knew the answer. "I am Neket, first speaker of the exiles. My people are lost children returning home." Their first encounters were cautious. The Skylords offered gifts, technology centuries beyond Earth's, medicine that could cure once incurable diseases, and knowledge of the cosmos beyond human imagination. But their greatest offering was their plea. They needed sanctuary. World leaders debated endlessly. Could Earth sustain billions more? Would the Skylords integrate peacefully, or would their return upend civilization? Religious groups called them false gods. Conspiracy theorists claimed it was all a hoax. Nations turned against each other, some welcoming the exiles, others threatening war if they dared set foot on their soil. Then the first attack happened. A rogue faction, fearing invasion, launched missiles at one of the Skylord ships above the Atlantic. The missiles never struck. The ship's defenses, silent, almost effortless, disintegrated the attack mid-air. But the message was clear. Not all of Earth was willing to accept their return. As tensions reached a breaking point, Amina stood beside Neket in a United Nations summit, watching the fate of two civilizations hang in the balance. "We have both made mistakes," Neket said, his voice carrying through the great hall. But we are still human. We ask not for your land, not for your rule, only for the chance to live among you once more. Will you deny your own blood? The room fell into silence. The world held its breath, and Earth stood on the brink of a choice that would shape its future forever.